Hey friends, join me as I cook by memory at Miss Penny's Favorite Foods. Hi everybody, this is Miss Penny with one of Miss Penny's favorite things. This goes back beyond when I was born. This is a Blackberry Dumpling. And it's old. It's an oldie but a goodie. People make it a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you how my grandmother made it, and that's what we're about to do now. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the blackberry juice, the blackberry syrup, the blackberry that the dumplings will be in. So we're going to make that first. And it's super simple. We've got 2.5 cups of plump blackberries. We're going to put them in the pot. Then we're going to add 4, which is a half stick of butter. 4 tablespoons. Next, we're going to grate a little bit of orange zest because that just brings out the blackberries, and citrus always helps. So we're going to do a little bit of orange zest in here. And that is about a teaspoon, about a teaspoon of orange zest. That goes in. Next, we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. That goes in. We're going to squeeze the juice of a half an orange. And we're going to put that in. And we're going to put 1 cup of sugar. To that, we're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon, really 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. We're going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon. Of nutmeg. And we're going to use a teaspoon of vanilla. And what this is going to do, it's going to make its own juice. It's going to make its own syrup. It's going to make its own juice. And we're going to put this on a low heat, let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Now I've got a pot of boiling water simmering on the stove for our dumplings that we're about to make. These are dumplings, which means they are boiled and they are put in boiling water, like a dumpling if you were making chicken and dumplings or dumplings in any way. That's what we're going to do now. So in that water, it's about a half a pot of water. And to that, I have added 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1/4 of a stick of butter. And that's to flavor the dumplings as they're cooking. All right, let's get started on our dumpling. We're going to move all this because we don't need that anymore. These are 12 or 13 plump blackberries. I'm not making a lot. You can make as many as you want. But I'm making 12 or 13 of them. I think it's either 12 or 13 in here. So we're going to make that. To these blackberries, I'm going to add a fourth of a cup of sugar. And I'm going to add to this sugar, I also added a tablespoon of cornstarch. So that's what's in that. A fourth of a cup of sugar and about a tablespoon, a little over a tablespoon of cornstarch. That's what that is. So all we're going to do is to just kind of mix it up so that they get covered. This is our flour for our dumplings. To this flour, it's 2 cups of all-purpose flour. It is a fourth of a teaspoon or a fourth of a tablespoon of baking powder, not a lot of baking powder, just a little to tenderize it, and an eighth of a teaspoon of salt. That's it. And the reason this was good when we were growing up, and lots of people have them, is because it's a peasant treat. It takes some flour, it takes whatever berries you have, but it takes flour, it takes a little water, it takes a little salt. You don't have to have the baking powder, but it tenderizes them just a touch. But either way, you mix it all together and it comes out to a great dessert. This is the way my grandmother made it. There are other versions of this, and those are good too. But this is how my grandmother made it. So, to this flour mixture, I'm going to put that to the side for a minute. And to this flour mixer, the only thing we're going to add now is cold water. Cold water is all that we are adding to this. And this works. It kind of reminds you of a pie crust, but it's a dumpling. You wouldn't add baking powder or baking soda to a pie crust. And we are making a dough. A simple dough. Dough has fed a lot of people for a very, very long time. It is something that you can make in a million different ways, feed your family, and it only costs pennies. It really does. All right, so with the excess flour, we're going to go in and flour our surface so that we can get started on our dough. You put your dough out on your cutting board. This is my good old biscuit cutter and any other cutter that I need. This is it. It's a can. I've had it forever. I think maybe tomatoes or peas or carrots or something. But I've had it forever. It works. You do not have to spend a lot of money on special cookie cutters. Get you the size can you want and keep it forever. So that's what that is. And that's going to make our dumpling. That's going to make the shape of our dumpling. So now we're going to just get our dough. And because it isn't pie crust, you don't do too much kneading because you don't want it to get tough. Well, your dumpling, you want it to be a little sturdier. You want it to be a little sturdier. So you kind of play with it a little bit more. Okay. Then you get out the old rolling pin and you roll it out. And you're going to roll it relatively thin because it's a dumpling. Now, that's what we're going to do with this. Then we're going to cut it into circles. And then we are going to put a plump blackberry in the middle of every circle. Close it up. Let me check on our blackberries and see how they're doing. I added about 1/4 of a cup of water to it once it started to get hot. I didn't want to add the water before because I needed them to reach a certain temperature. All right. And you got to remember your juice for your dumplings. The blackberries are going to break down, so there will not be whole blackberries. They'll be incorporated in a lovely juice that your dumpling is going to go in. And it's got the seasonings. It's got the vanilla. It's got the nutmeg. It's got the sugar. It's got some cornstarch so that it thickens slightly. So it's got all that in it. So you don't have to do anything to the actual actual filling. A little sugar that is in right here. That's it. That's it. Okay, so flour that. And we're going to cut out our dumplings. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to cut a couple extra in case my dough breaks up or something. I've already cut a couple of extra in case I need it. All right. So then we're going to take away the excess dough so that you can see the process. And I'm not throwing my dough away by any means. I can use this dough to make more of them. I have biscuit dough, I have pie crust dough, and I have dumpling dough. So when I want to make more, I can. I just need to defrost my dough. Okay, here we go. So we take one of our doughs and we place a sugar crusted blackberry in it. Now my grandmother She could do this so fast. Oh my gosh. She would do them just whip, 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 whip. I can't do them that fast. And then you just bring it in and you pinch the sides like so. Now you can make bigger dumplings, but she always made small ones. Maybe because we were little. I don't know. But she liked them spoon size. You know, 1-2 bites tops. And that is our Blackberry Dumpling. It's got one whole blackberry in it. We're going to put our blackberries on this parchment paper and we're going to keep it moving. And we're going to bring them up. If your hands are sticky, flour your fingers. Flour your fingers. And we're going to keep this up until we get all of the dumplings done. I'll be back in a minute after I've gotten all the dumplings done, and we're going to show you the next step when I put them in the pot. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, our water is boiling. It's got sugar and butter in it. And now we're going to drop our last bit of dumplings in there. All right. And they're in there. It's going to take, they'll probably be in there for about 5 or 6 minutes. And then we're going to take them out. And we're going to put them in our blackberry sauce. And let them cook in the blackberry sauce. About another 5 minutes. And then our dumplings are going to be done. All right, I'll be back in a minute. All right, we're mixing the dumplings into the blackberry compote. All right, everybody, the blackberry dumplings are ready. Here are the blackberry dumplings. Okay, we're going to taste them. This brings me back to my childhood. You know, you don't realize how much love and attention goes into cooking when you're little, because I probably ate 10 of these. Can you imagine how many she had to make? That was my grandma. Alrighty. A little bit more of the blackberry compote. Yum, 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 yum. Blackberry dumpling. I'm going to put, might as well, dollop of whipped cream. And here you go. Blackberry dumpling. Love you for watching. Thank you so much. Let's try it. When you split it open, look what's inside. That's a blackberry dumpling. A big fat blackberry in it. That's what I'm talking about. So good. The dumpling is tender with a little chew, just perfect. And the blackberry pops in your mouth. You can't go wrong. Thanks for watching. Make it and tell me how you like it. All right. Bye-bye.